Hello you lovely people, it's time for another virtual stadium tour, and today we are taking a look around the Raymond James Stadium, the home stadium of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So let's take a look at it now. And as always for you, the first fact I have about this stadium is its overall capacity, and I can tell you that this stadium currently holds 65,890 fans in it. Although, when they have special events at the stadium, it can hold up to 75,000 people in it. And immediately on taking a look at the stadium, you'll probably notice that there is a giant pirate ship down there. And I can tell you now that that pirate ship is exactly 103 feet long. It has 8 cannons on it, and every time Tennessee Buccaneers score a point, those cannons fire. When the Buccaneers enter the field, when their players enter the field, those cannons fire. And on match days, that ship right there is actually manned by 30 people, so it's got a 30-man crew on it, and it's kind of a huge landmark of this stadium. Quite rightly too, it's a very impressive thing. If we take a look at the other side, we can see there's kind of like a very impressive bar there just sitting on top of the first tier as well. So that's very good, hugely outclassed by the huge pirate ship on the other side of the stadium, but still a very cool little thing there, that bar. Anyway, moving on, I can tell you that this stadium was opened in 1998. After a 3-year building process, and it did cost $168.5 million to build. And I can tell you now that this stadium and the Tennessee Bay Buccaneers is actually owned by the same people, the same family that owns Manchester United Football Club, the Glazers. And after they took over, after they bought the franchise in 1995, and immediately after the Glazers took over, immediately after they bought this franchise, they decided that this stadium was not good enough for them, and that they were going to expand it. And so they actually put forward a $25 million renovation plan for the stadium. And I can tell you now that about $6.5 million of that was designated to install huge, massive video screens in the stadium, so that the fans could watch the game more clearly if they had a slightly obscured view. I can tell you that about $4.5 million of that was to purchase smaller television screens to go around the stadium in the bowels of it, so that fans going to the toilet, maybe getting a hot dog, getting some food, getting some merchandise, can also keep watching the game even when they're not actually out there watching it live. And $2 million of that of that 25 was actually to renovate and to replace all of the roofing. Now, there's not a huge amount of roofing around this stadium, but those bits that are there, they do want to replace it, just make it look a little bit more modern, a little bit snazzier, and a little bit more up to date. Anyway, moving on, I'm just going to talk quickly about the naming rights of this stadium. Now, as with the vast majority of the stadiums in the NFL, this stadium has had its naming rights purchased by Raymond James Financial, and that happened in 1998. They paid $32.5 million for a 13-year naming rights deal, and before that it was known as just the Tampa Stadium. They obviously sold the rights to it to Raymond James Financial, and actually that 13-year deal in 2006 was extended, so it's going to be called the Raymond James Stadium throughout 2015 now as well. But anyway, that's it. That's all I've got for you, the virtual stadium tour of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium, named the Raymond James Stadium. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys.